Welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is June 9, 2023. That would be the date. Today is Friday. Bender.
Oh, wait. Tomorrow's the 24th.
No. Tomorrow's the 9th. No. It goes, there's an order to it.
See, this is why we discuss this, right? It goes 9th and then 10th.
And then 10th. And then we'll be back in full operation on the 12th. And then the following day will be the 13th. So we have to be sure.
I think I got it figured out now. Okay.
With the big day being the 15th is important. 15th is important.
Tell us about the 15th.
15th, we get everybody's deadbeat bastard ass daddy coming online to tell us, why inflation is what it is, why rates are what they are, why their direction is the direction of the direction that's going to be offered for the direction. Important stuff. Yeah, when we get Bastard Daddy coming on the mic, it's like it's one of those things that you kind of have to pay attention to a little bit. It's like and it's funny that we bring that up. It's like, again, everybody is still anticipating a pause, skip, whatever you want to call it, to allow data to marinate. And it's like the data continues to be like, it's like everything is moving in the direction that the federales want. It's just more of a question whether or not it's moving fast enough for them. I don't expect any type of like major policy, the George Bush moment on the aircraft carrier saying mission accomplished. I don't expect that to necessarily be the case until Jackson Hole. But he is disappointed multiple times during Jackson Hole and doing the exact opposite of what everybody has expected over the past couple of years. So there is that. Moving on to things that are kind of in play today. It's like data out of China continues to be lackluster at best. They're no longer even uttering the words inflation. Deflation is their problem, according to multiple articles this morning. Prices are coming down, cost for manufacturing coming down, everything's coming down, and they're more concerned with deflation than they are inflation. I think you combine that with some of the decoupling that we've seen in reports. We got the import-export report earlier in the week, still saying that China is weakening from a global economic standpoint as more and more countries choose and companies choose to be less reliant upon them. I think that's why you see a lot of noise as far as Apple in India, Tesla looking for basically any parcel of land that they can put a factory on. Spain being the latest is being talked up. And I think it would be wrong to not kind of talk about Tesla a little bit this morning. That announcement, partnership with GM, really kind of speaks to Tesla being what many people believe, much more than a car company, but an innovator. A company that pushes the envelope to where other companies are like, we're not going to be able to catch up to what we're doing. We might as well hitch our wagon. So we had Ford step in and do it. Now we have GM. It'll be interesting to see how they are able to work together and whether or not there are other quote unquote collaborations. Did watch the interview with Barra last night. While honestly, Bender, it seemed like one of those things that she was like, yeah, we're gonna do a deal with Tesla, but this is what it does for us. This is what it does for us. Over and over again. That's her job as a CEO of GM. So give her some room there. But she offered zero pump to Tesla. Other than referring back to how, this is great for GM, which is fine. But it's like you took the deal for a reason. Why did you take the deal? I don't know. I really don't know. Today is Friday. Today is also one of those days, and looking at that, we've been speaking over and over again about how this has all been setting the table for FOMC next week. We did get some bearish activity that kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. Wednesday going into Thursday, they came in bear off of that surprise Canadian rate increase. Some of that flow dissipated a little bit, and we saw some really nice lines surrounding companies like Adobe, Tesla, another one, AMD with a very large put writer coming in and being like, hey, we're going to try to set a floor here, right in through here, as far as AMD is concerned. Netflix continues to get upside action with a little bit of bear flow mixed in. And Apple, slowly but surely decided to get off the map with the close over 180. So for me today, Apple will be on watch. Meta, also another company on watch for me that, they did come in heavy handed with puts on those 260s. They got rolled up a little bit on them. So seeing how that action kind of goes today for Meta, seeing how much of this gap Tesla can hold. Oddly, Bender, very oddly, for Tesla. Tesla will fill a gap while creating another and filling the previous gap.
It's perfect. Perfect.
Right? So there is that. Look, let's walk through some of these charts to get an idea. The other thing, Wedbush, who we were smashing on yesterday for the SoFi, they did boost Tesla's price target from 215 to 300. They did do that on the heels of this announcement, I guess. So there are some pieces moving in the right direction for Tesla. They also announced that they are ready to start rolling out the Cybertruck, which pretty neat. Pretty neat at the end of the day. So chart us up, Bender. Show us what we're looking at. We had talked about this massive bull flag developing out. We have SPY sitting here just below 430. We have the NASDAQ kind of, not necessarily in line with the SPY move. So I'm curious to see what you have and what you want to talk about.
All right, sure. What I have right here is a 4-hour chart. Again, just to kind of give the bigger picture, understand where these lines are coming from. Measured this move here, that 38, was that 38, 40, 25 to 4208. The extensions off of that, 1272, 4308, which is essentially right where we've been hitting our head, right? If we can actually get through that, the 141 extension is up at 4360.25. I also measured this most recent impulse move, which was, the low down here, 4113 area. Then we kind of double topped here at 4243, pulled back to the 50% level, and then fire. And the extensions for that move were through the 1414 extension. The 1618 comes in at 4123.25. So again, 4-hour, just to kind of show where these lines are coming from when we zoom in and you see them on the chart. Go to a 15-minute here. Zoom in some more. And this is actually, let me go to a 60-minute first so you can see. Got a 60-minute fair value gap down here that starts at about 4284. So you see where that box is coming from and why I threw that one in there. It's also the bottom of this candle here. Excuse me, from this morning, 3 o'clock. That's where that box comes from. Now if we go into a 15-minute, here's the 5-minute. And you can kind of see these candles that pushed up, up and over this high from, was that 1:50 a.m. Then it pulls back, and then you get this candle here with a fair value gap, 5-minute fair value gap. This area right in here, I think is, what, if you're going to see, if we want to see some, some sort of rally, or at least, early in the day, I'll be watching this box here for clues. If it comes back down and tests it, pulls back into a fair value gap that it leaves on a down candle and then pushes, into it, that would make me think that we're probably going to go test this 42.84 or, take it out. If not by one tick and then, back up. If it continues down, maybe fills in the rest of that 60-minute fair value gap. This gray shaded box right here is a previous new week opening gap. So we talked about this yesterday, that that 42.88 level. I'm watching this shaded box for clues, knowing that new week opening gap is right there, and then that low from 42.84. As far as upside, we talked about those extensions. I've got this 43.06 was the high from the 5th. When was that, Tuesday? So that was the high there. On any kind of push up, watch that level, that 43.06. Again, it's another one of those levels where it's like, okay, we know that there's liquidity there. There's liquidity right here at 43.0475. Like there's stops in here, right? And here, 43.02 half. So if it's going to push through these, once it takes out this 43.06, that's when you kind of need to pay attention. Is it going to get through it, come back and use this as support again into a fair value gap and then push higher? Or is it going to, take these stops and then turn around and come back down for a, maybe a 4,300 retest or back into this shaded area in here? So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. And I hope that kind of lays it out. I don't have a whole lot else.
Yeah. And again, look, guys, it is Friday, and with a very big week set up for next week. We did have, it's like, and this is what's been interesting about this move that we've had. It's like a lot of this chop and a lot of this consolidation has all been surrounding having these knife moves down in these crawlbacks, mixing with some pretty heavy green candles back to the upside. So it continues to kind of medicate itself and readjust its RSI from normally you would be like, we're just wildly overbought in through here. And that is just simply not the case. The way we continue to get these little dip and pulls and then fires, it's like it's doing an incredible job of readjusting its overbought, oversold levels as we continue to make this climb. So yeah, Bender, thank you for that.
Here's the last. Here's the last piece of it, right? I just threw a fib on the move from this morning, right? 3 o'clock this morning or so. Where was that low? 3:30 a.m. to, it had this run up to 42.97, pulled back to the midpoint, that 50% level, and then fires. So again, now we're looking at these extensions, right? 1272, 4301, 1414, 4303, 1618 is that 4205.75. So that extension being there, that 4205.75 paired with this at 40, or what did I say? This 4305.75 paired with this being right here at 4306. Which actually that may be, bring this down, make sure we get the exact number. Okay, so those both line up right there, 4305.75. So just another reason to be paying attention if we reach up into this level. We did have a couple days ago where I had extensions on here, right? And it's like, okay, well, this should give pause if it gets here. And it did, and then ultimately ripped through it, right? Which it certainly can do. But multiple things lining up right there at that 4306 level.
All right. Thank you very much. Sonny, what you got, buddy?
Morning, everyone. Gonna be quick today. Not much of a news side, and you pretty much covered the biggest news, Tesla GM using Tesla. So based on that, actually look for downside on CHPT, Blink, EVGO. I think those will turn into penny stocks pretty soon. Upgrades. Adobe got a whole bunch of upgrades, price target upgrades from BMO, Citi, TD, Wells Fargo raising their price target, most of them above 500. The other upgrades are GLW. So GLW is component maker for Apple, make their screens and a bunch of other components for the iPads as well. Morgan Stanley has made them an overweight, price target 38. GCOM has been getting upgrades and a lot of dark pool over the last few weeks. So that price target has been raised to 46. The other upgrades are Oracle and Carvana. Citi price target raised to 25 from 11. Downgrades, Path. So we've seen a lot of put activity come into Path the last week. They were buying it up, and then a whole lot of activity. So that is equal weight from overweight by Wells Fargo. Price target 20. Target, everybody's favorite, short stock. The downgrade by Citi. Price target 130. That one. JPM put out a news about crypto. They're saying that people are buying the dip in crypto. The ownership for crypto has gone up from 2% of the population to 12% as of December 2022. So I guess they're getting ready to buy the dip now. AMD will release a new chip next week for the data centers. I don't expect much of a move. I think AMD moved quite a bit. TSM put out some data out this morning about the sales. They were up month to month. BIIB is halted pending FDA decision. So you can, and BIIB, their spreads are pretty whack, extremely wide. You could play Sava as a sympathy play on that. Sava did get some flow yesterday. DocuSign had good ER. They were up pre-market. They said AI quite a few times. So watch that. I'm not sure why they would say AI over and over. You're basically just signing PDFs and stuff like that and contracts.
It's somebody told them.
Yeah,
somebody told them.
63 times. Yeah.
I mean, all you do is get a documented email, you sign it, and you're done with it. Yeah, you can create contracts, but that's what, you chat GPT and competitors to write up stuff like that. That'll be an interesting one. But the Chinese stocks are mixed.
AI.
But AI,
AI.
yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I wonder how long this thing's going to last. But hey, ride the wave as long as you can. The Chinese stocks are mixed. Baba it's down 0.5%. Baidu climbed up 1.5%. JD was down also. So those could be plays if you're watching those. Neo released their numbers. They had the ER. It didn't do so well, so they're down a little bit. And Meta, we've seen flow in this. So they released a new app. It's supposed to be a Twitter competitor, and they released it for Instagram users for now, subset of it. I'll have to try it out to see what it's supposed to do. I think it's just fragmenting Meta into all this different thing. I think they're desperate to make money and coming up with the shitty ideas.
Agreed.
And they did say AI too.
Yeah. So just on the Chinese mark, they did have data that was not very inspiring, but their markets did close flat to up a little bit. Japan, which is wild, it's been beaten up the past couple of sessions. They were up nicely last night.
Yeah. So on the Chinese also, they're talking about, they may have to do some stimulus and stuff for the users to go out and start buying stuff.
Yeah. Which is, it's so wild how this whole thing is playing out, coming out of the pandemic when we saw all the stimulus, and some countries, chose a certain policy, some chose others. It's like Japan is really, for the most part, looking like they did it the right way.
And the thing is, like, everybody was making fun of Japan when they were doing it.
Right. Like they were absolutely bastardized at every meeting, everything. I think they walked out of one of them. They're like, we're just out. We're leaving the meeting. Um, so it's really interesting seeing how everything is kind of, it's like time proves out everything, right, Sonny? It's like it just doesn't matter what it is in the moment. Time will prove things out.
I mean, it's always a long play.
Mm-hmm.
The daily plays are okay. You win some, lose some, but you have the right focus. Money is in the long play.
Yeah, agreed. What else you got?
That's it.
All right, Stonkington, paging Stonkington. What you got for us, buddy?
Hello, I'm here. I'm ready. Let's see. I found a quote for today. This is a Mr. Frederick Douglass. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Fitting. This shit ain't easy. You gotta work hard to be good.
Struggle is real.
Struggle is real. Can't be Riz game can't be on fire if you're not struggling.
Yeah,
you
but
gotta,
if you got
drip,
drip,
you got a drippy Riz. You got a drippy Riz.
You think it's easy to be dripping this hard? It's a struggle.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's jump over to our smash burger. So we did get the alert in the room, but it popped back up. So we'll reset our alert. Mr. Larry Williams would still be in if he was short because this would be the stop. So we'll just keep that in mind on the IWM, and I'll reset the alert, see if we break that low again. Looking at the Russell here on a 4 hour. Pretty clear these two. We've got the fair value gap above, fair value gap below. Just going to kind of see which way we go. There was some nice flow coming back into the IWM for upside. And I mean, momentum says upside. So first upside target on the Russell would be that 1893. Looking at this little daily fair value gap above that has room up to 1912. If we're going to push down, we've got first room down to 1864.50, and then another daily fair value gap below with room down to 1842.80. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that for the Russell. If we jump over to the NASDAQ, let's see. It's going off. I think I had this. This was a tip from the guys in the room doing the adjustment for the contract rolling. So that thank you, Phil and Encipher, showing us that in the room last night. So what we've got on the NASDAQ here, if we kind of drill down, this is a fair value gap on the daily that has clearly been traded up and through, but still seemed like we were getting reactions to these levels. So I kept it on the chart. And then we have this order block line, basically just resistance up at the top. So that would be kind of where I'd be looking for upside targets. Downside, here's an order block line on the hourly, really clear. All these reactions to this 653.50. If we have to continue downside, we've got this would be what he would call like a nested fair value gap because it's got the new week opening gap covering up with this 4 hour from this candle to this candle. So we'll kind of see. I mean, yesterday pre-market mentioned this inverse head and shoulders where it played out nicely through the day with everything else on fire. We have this this was like a double top there on the 4 hour. So we're coming back up into this neckline area. So just going to count a couple things to be aware of. But like Hells was saying, it looked like Bull was taking some shots, at least on the individual tickers. So keep an eye
and
there.
we did get a large spy line come in that I was like, oh, okay. If we're going to walk that walk, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Keep on going. No, I'll look to pull it.
Okay. Yeah. So swapping over to the individual tickers, this is a slight adjustment to the call trigger just based on a little move up, but NVIDIA is looking pretty nice. We've got this flag here. I'm using the 391 psych level as a call trigger. You can see how many times it's reacted. Nice round number. And then also kind of got like a left shoulder head, maybe some kind of right shoulder over here. Above, we've got this dark pool and fib area, 397.70. Below, we've still got the big dark pool, 378.34. So that's what I will be watching on NVIDIA. And then if we jump over to Apple, Apple's a good one just because it's always the battle of the dark pools. So we'll just pick the watch list for today. Big one here at 180.95 above, and then below is going to be 181. And then we'll see what we get if we continue upside. Then next I'll be looking for these fibs. 183.30 above and 178.2 has been really important line this week. We've had it set up as orb multiple times. So that's kind of what I've got on Apple and NVIDIA. Netflix, we could take a look at that. Netflix breaking out, potentially invalidating this whole flag. Might have to redo these fibs. I'll drop a new chart. I think that's all I got.
All right, very good. It reminded me when you said that it wasn't SPY, it was Q. We had multiple taps into 400 plus coming into QQQ by the end of the year. And we're not talking little lines, we're talking $1 million lines that were being laid in there. So really, really interesting how this momentum continues to build out. And when you get notes like from TSM basically saying, hey, it's like sales are up, that kind of stuff, it kind of speaks to that semi play, that semi move. Maybe it was warranted in a lot of ways. Now maybe we do continue to claw back higher. Maybe there is more gas in the tank with banks being in a lot of ways sitting at two-year lows. Maybe there is something there to continue to move this thing to the upside. But with all this being said, again, next week is one of those binary weeks with a lot of data and a lot of jawboning. So, of course, with today being Friday, you protect your money the way you want to protect your money, and you position your money the way you want it. But that's the landscape. You guys have anything else?
Nope, nothing for me.
Bender says no. Stonk says no. Sonny says no.
Ooh.
All right, very
Therefore,
good. We have 12 minutes until open. We'll see you soon.
In a few.